Good afternoon and welcome to Mr. Mayor's Book Chats. Got a few new books down here at the library. First one I'm going to talk to you today about is a fantasy book called Dividing Eden. And it's about a brother and sister who have lived in this kingdom called Eden for their entire life. And they've never really had to worry about what's going to happen after their father, the king, passes away. They were never destined to rule Eden, because not only is their dad the king, they've got an older brother who is next in line to inherit the throne. So at the time, the future of the kingdom was pretty secure. But that didn't work out. When Eden's king and prince are killed by assassins, Eden needs a new monarch. And that is where Karis and Andreas, twins, are kind of thrown into the story. And there's only one option: to take part in a trial of succession to determine which one of them is going to rule the kingdom. Now, as twin brother and sister, they know all about each other. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. They've always had each other's back. But they've also, know all their secrets. And they also both kind of want to be the king or queen, the head of Eden. So they're going to do whatever it takes to take down the other one to become the rightful ruler of Eden. This is the first book in a series, so if you like this one, you can request the second. The next book is realistic fiction. It's called Up for Air, and it's about a 13-year-old girl named Annabelle who has always struggled in school. She struggled with grades. It's just things don't come real easy to her. And she really doesn't like school. The only place she really feels successful is the swimming pool. When she dives into the swimming pool, she's unstoppable. And she's the fastest girl on her middle school team. And when she's asked to join the high school team over the summer, everything changes. Now she's starting to get attention from some of the other high schoolers. And one particular high school boy that she's kind of interested in. And she starts kind of blowing off her old friends because she feels kind of accepted by these high schoolers. And she feels accepted because she's successful. But then something goes wrong, and Annabelle kind of gets abandoned by those new friends. And, she's not sure that that was the right decision. Maybe she shouldn't have left her old friends, and she's got to kind of deal with that. So if you like realistic fiction, there's not many books about swimming. So if you enjoy swimming, you might like this one. Secret Life of Lincoln Jones. This is by Wendelin von Braun, the author of Wild Bird and The Running Dream. So again, we're going to be Skyping with Wendelin von Braun later on in the year. So if you could read this one too, and if you've got questions about that, you could always ask her about this one. It's about a kid named Lincoln who has just had to move, kind of uproot his entire life, move across country because him and his mom are fleeing his mom's abusive boyfriend. And so that's one kind of secret that he's keeping. Another secret that he's keeping is that he is dealing with a lot inside his head, and he writes in his notebook a lot, and he doesn't want anybody to know what he's writing in this notebook. And the third secret he's keeping is he loves to hang out at the nursing home, especially the kind of dementia ward at the nursing home where his mom works, because he just says there's always something new going on there, and he doesn't feel pressure, but he's afraid that people might think that he's hanging around with these old people and they'll make even more fun of him. So he's kind of keeping all these secrets until one other classmate, a girl named Candy Cane, kind of takes an interest in Lincoln and tries to get to know Lincoln a little bit better. And again, he's trying to keep all that to himself. The next three books are nonfiction, so they're true stories. This one is called The Boys in the Boat, and it is about a group of 9 college students in 1936, the 1936 Olympics, when these kind of farm boys, these from the University of Washington came together and became a rowing team and took down the mighty German team in the 1936 Olympics. So kind of this is set amidst the Great Depression and while Nazi Germany is rising. So it's got a lot of history, but also some good sports action as well. If you are an animal lover, you might like this one called The Elephant Whisperer. And this is about a guy in 1999. He was a rancher and owned kind of a conservation park in Africa. And he was approached one day by a group that said, hey, I've got these 9 elephants that have been so traumatized by poachers and by humans that their behavior is terrible. We don't know what to do with these nine elephants. If you can't take them, they're going to be killed. So he decides to take these 9 elephants into his conservation area, his ranch, and kind of try to break them, try to get them back to health. And it's very short chapters. They call this guy the Indiana Jones of conservation. So even though it's nonfiction, this book, it's kind of billed as being, it reads like a fictional action adventure. So if you love animals, if you like elephants or conservation, check that one out. And then the last book is a graphic novel, true story, called They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. He was on Star Trek, but before he was on Star Trek, when he was a young child, his family was forced into a relocation camp. In 1942, every person of Japanese descent on the West Coast was rounded up and shipped to one of these relocation centers, hundreds or thousands of miles from home. And they were put in there for years under armed guard. And so this is kind of his story of being a child in one of these relocation camps. And again, it's got an incredible amount of history and just a great story of this kind of terrible time in American history. Any of these sound good to you? Come check them out. Come talk to me down here in the library. Thanks.